Greetings, this is the Baron, and today we celebrate Legendary Patron Kelvin Ortega, who has taken up the one-of-one legendary title of Irini Sengir. Kelvin, thank you for your support, and welcome to Family Sengir. Although this legendary tier may be gone forever, there's still plenty more ways for you to send me a tip for my service by signing up for my Patreon and showing your support. When Kelvin signed up for this spot, I reached out to him immediately, and we had a quick discussion. It turns out he hasn't played Paper Magic in quite some time, and so I offered to build him a deck. His challenge to me was to build him a chess-themed deck. In this video, I will show you exactly what I was thinking about how to tackle this challenge. I've got a couple ideas that might need some tweaking, so please don't be shy, leave a comment below so that we can build this masterpiece and get it shipped out to our legendary patron. First of all, since this is a chess-themed deck, we need to think about our pieces. We know we need a king, a queen for each color, some bishops, rooks, and knights, and of course the 8 pawns on either side. Now, one of my quick thoughts and fun thoughts was maybe I should play rook eggs as the rooks. That just makes a lot of sense. But it just seems like the right way to go with this deck is black and white. Adding a third color is kind of outside our budget. So let's do what we can with what we have. And then further down the line, we can imagine what we would do if we did want to add red just to have rooks be rook eggs. Or decide if what I went with is actually the better way to go. I'll let you guys discuss it and decide. So let's get right into what I did come up with now, starting off with our white pawns. The Javelineers just seemed like it auto-include for a pawn. All my pawns are represented by 1-drops, and these guys are basically one of the strongest 1-drops in old school. So I'm thinking about running 4 of these bad boys. There we go. Our board is looking great already. Let's find another pawn. How about these guys? Another great 1-drop, 1/1 first strike in white. And I love that old art. Look at those wolves tearing apart that elk. This will be a great addition to this battlefield and a great pawn. Let's throw 2 of these puppies on our board. For our final 2 pawns, we're going to use Abu Jafar. The 1-drop, 0/1, takes things out. Does a good job at it. Summon Leper. Let's get this guy on the board. Now you might want to run 4 of these or 4 wolves. I'm going to give Kelvin a playset of each. That way I let him decide. Onto the black pawns. If you want a black 1-drop, you got to be running Will-o'-the-Wisp, right? So let's get 4 of those down right up front and center. Now, wherever these pawns are situated, I guess doesn't matter. It's not a chess game, it's a magic game. Next pawn, an excellent 1-drop, is the Stone Throwing Devils. This card has a little bit of controversy going on about it, but it's a 1/1 first strike. You can make an altar if you want. So, since we might not be able to run 4 of those, we've also got Bog Rats, because they're just an iconic card that you want to see in a deck. Also trying to keep the black and white kind of balanced at this point. We could always up the power level later, even separate it into 2 different decks. But now we need rooks, which to me kind of seem like walls should take this spot, since we're not using rook eggs. So for our white rooks, we have Wall of Swords. For black, a good wall is Wall of Shadows. 0/1 for 3, takes no damage from blocked creatures. So 2 solid walls here so far. Now knights. I think we all know what's coming. That's right, the black and white knight. So let's get those guys right into the knight slots. Boom, bam. For the bishop here, it was kind of an easy selection for white. If you can guess it, it's Preacher. So what a great card. Just tap and steal something. Your opponent gets to choose, but you know what? That's fine. It still makes progress. Throw him in the bishop slot on white side. Now for the black bishop, I went with the Priest of Yawgmoth. So this guy can tap and sacrifice an artifact to give you black mana equal to the casting cost. So he kind of works with Preacher a little bit. If you could take an artifact creature, there's a lot of Tron decks out there doing work, but there are some artifacts we're putting in this deck to make him worthwhile. Now on to the white king. We have none other than King Suleiman. What a strong card. This guy does work. 2 mana, nice and quick, gets out. He's a 1/1. Tap, destroy Nefrit or Jinn. So that will clean up a lot of decks real fast and easy. Now, I'm not going to go on to the Black King, but the Black Queen, and that will be Sorceress Queen. Another strong card, only 3 to cast, and does work, turning any creature on the board to just a 0/2. Now, our board is looking pretty good. Very solid deck so far. In fact, might even be better as 2 separate decks, and maybe I will go that far as to do that. But for now, we're trying to make it all one deck. But we need a King and Queen. And to me, there's only one true King and Queen of black and white. And out of these two right here, Sengir Vampire and Serra Angel. These iconic cards have so much nostalgia packed into just 5 mana. And they're playable cards. You see these all the time. Serra more than Sengir probably. But I really couldn't find a better 2 iconic, beautiful representations of their own color that I can make happen as much as Sengir Vampire and Serra Angel. So they'll be taking the King and Queen spots of black and white. So this is the base of what we have to work with. This is our creature base. It's not too bad. It's something we can definitely make happen. Start with a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Although, after we put in, 20, 22, 24 lands, whatever it's got to be, there's not a lot of room left for extra stuff. Whether it be Swords of Plowshares, Dark Rituals, Righteousness even, whatever it's going to be, it's a tight squeeze. So, I'm going to check it out, test this deck, see how it goes, and I'll be right back. So, I tested Kelvin's deck out, and it was complete trash. So what I decided to do is actually split it up into 2 decks, black versus white. Just like you would have on a chessboard, there will be, a black player and a white player, and that way I could also make each deck a little stronger. There won't be mana problems, anything like that. It'll just be black and white. He has no decks yet, so he'll have 2 now. Him and a buddy could play. He can get someone else in the old school, and it'll go from there. I'm also going to include a nice fat pile of cards that he could tweak and edit with to make it his own. I've also, take a look what I did. So here's a look at the black deck. I did make one small change from what we went over initially with the creature base, and that was taking out the Priest of Yawgmoth for Royal Assassin. I get that the Priest is more like a bishopy feel, but I feel like the Royal Assassin gets the job done just fine. And overall, it's a stronger card. Although, we did squeeze in a bunch of artifacts in here, and I will be giving him the Priest of Yawgmoth. That way, if he wants to make the change, he can. And so, there are 20 lands in here. So, the leftover cards, the non-creature cards, as creatures are representing the pieces on the board, I didn't want to put any extras in. Everything else is going to represent the strategy involved in the game of chess. So, it's however you want to play those cards. And work with your creatures. So it's kind of like the creatures are the pieces, the lands are the lands. That's the luck factor, I guess. And then everything else in this deck is the strategy that you use in the game. So here I decided to go with 4 Drain Lives, 4 Rituals, 3 Terrors, a single Bad Moon, 2 Disrupting Scepters, the Ashes to Ashes, 2 Books, 2 Animate Deads, 4 Unholy Strengths, and a Rod of Ruin. There's also, like I said, a big fat pile of cards that I'll be giving Kelvin to work with. One card that I'm giving him that is really just probably a good way to go to represent a king in black is Sol Kanar the Swamp King. And that way you could add red and blue to this deck also. Those I'll include what I can with red and blue. That way you can make this deck, just crazy. And then you could even employ the red and blue into the white deck if you wanted to. And you could say, like, red is chance and blue is strategy. And then just the black and the whites are, the game board. But that would require probably dual lands that I can't afford to hand out at this point. But I'll supply him with everything I can to let him be as creative as he wants to be. Now, on to the white deck. So there were no changes to the white deck creature base. I kind of wanted to put Savannah Lions in somehow, maybe instead of the Javelineers. But I actually only own a single copy of Savannah Lions, which I had none until about a week ago. And someone actually gifted me one copy. So besides the creature base that we have here, I've decided to go with 4 disenchants, 2 righteousness, 2 healing salves, 2 books, just like the black deck has, a crusade to mirror the bad moon, a dust to dust to mirror the ash to ashes, or vice versa, however that is, guardian angel, 2 elven lairs, a spirit link, which I would have given him more actually. I would have switched it around a bit, but I only actually had 1 extra spirit link, so there it is. 3 holy strengths, 1 rod of ruin, 3 resurrection, and 1 divine transformation. And then this deck has 20 plains, just like the other deck has 20 swamps. And like I said, there will be a fat pile of cards that I am including that allow him to tweak his deck however he wishes. I know people are looking now and saying, well, healing salve is kind of lame. Like, well, it's a combat trick. It can really change the course of a game. So here we have it, the final product, my gift to the legendary patron, Kelvin Ortega. Kelvin, thank you for your support. And to you, the rest of the viewers, thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please remember to like and subscribe. If you really dig me, check out my Patreon, Baron Nick. This is the Baron, and I'm done here.